Hey, y'all. Come in, come in, come in. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Tracy, hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Lady in Black, hey, how you doing? And welcome. Welcome to the channel. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday. Thank you. Kim, hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Gonna give it a few more minutes. I don't know what the goings on is on the street, so there may be some folks that are live. But we're gonna go ahead and get this message out on this Sunday. We're gonna get this message out on this Sunday. You gotta find a little place to put some good in it on any day, but definitely you gotta try to get it in there on Sunday. Hallelujah. Let's try to get a good word up in here. For those few that are in here, if you don't mind hitting that like button, there you go. There you go. Bless your heart. If you don't mind hitting that like button, if you don't mind. Kim, yes. Her and my brother, my younger brother, they actually came and helped me unpack some things and put some things up. It's been about 2 weeks ago. They were here and they helped me do a few things. So yes. Thank you for hitting that like button. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Do whatever you feel you need to do, sir. I can't. Jonna, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Okay, so what we are looking at today, operating on negative ground. The first thing that I would want to ask or to put out there or propose to you guys, the first thing I would like to propose is, do you operate in the why or the how? Do you operate in the why or the how? Tracy, Sean he was on here last week when we did the last live. He is one of the subscribers to the page. And I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to go into any more detail with that. He did a nice little video last week. And yeah. Tirana, hey, how you doing? How you doing? So, do you operate in the why or the what? Now, I need y'all to understand the question that I am asking. Career for Life, how are you doing? Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday to you. Thank you guys for tuning in. So, whenever we have any type of situation that happens, there is a saying and there is a belief that like attracts like. I'm pretty sure you guys all heard that before, that like attracts like. So you tend to pull in the type of things that you feel comfortable with, the things that you can relate to. So whenever we look at, and I don't want you guys to think that I just came up with this. A lot of my stuff that I come up with, I actually listen to, like I do my virtual church on Sunday. And I get different messages. And this was something that Bishop Jakes had threw out. And I wanted to pose this question to you guys. Sean, like I said, I know that you got some stuff going on, so I won't address that. But racism isn't a hot topic on this channel. It actually isn't. Yeah, it's not a hot topic over here. It is discussed at times, but it's not something that we talk about on a regular basis. That's why I wasn't trying to continue that conversation the last time, but you are more than welcome. So, but I was listening to, or I was watching the video this morning while I was walking, and he posed a question. And one of the things that he was talking about is that whenever people gossip, whenever people listen to people that like spreading negativity or putting a lot of negative, okay, I got you. Trying to put negative things out in the atmosphere. If when you see those types of people that like to dwell in negativity, and you see the people that like following that, the people that get off on that negativity, you have to ask yourself this question, and then you have to ask the question when you're looking at other people. Are you operating in the why or the what? Are they operating in the why or the what? Now, the thing is, people that usually run towards negativity, they operate in the what. What did somebody do? When you have somebody put negative stuff out, they did this, they did this, they did this, they didn't do this, they said this, that's where those things tend to come from. So it's that what. Those that are really looking for answers, those that seek truth, these people actually tend to operate in the why. And that's what we have a lot of on this channel. And I appreciate you guys, because it's not so much about what somebody did. You want to know why. Okay, you're saying they did this. Why did they do it? What was behind it? You're saying they did this. Even when somebody is putting the negative information out there, you're not so much interested in the what. You're interested in, okay, why are you saying this? And one of the things that he spoke about was kids when they were younger. And I think it was a good example. As adults, we get aggravated when kids are always asking all these questions, like they get on our nerves, but kids are inquisitive. And the good thing about them, they're not spoiled. They haven't been tainted by all of the things of the world, right? So they want to know the whys. They don't care about the whats. They want to know the whys. And some of us, though we may be adults, we still have that type of childlike mindset because we want to know the whys. It's not so much important about what people are saying and what you have going on. We're looking at the whys. So you look at that child, you tell them, don't touch that. Why? Because it's hot. Why is it hot? Because the stove is on. Why is the stove on? They just keep asking why. Because at the end of the day, they're not just trying to get an answer. They're not just trying to get a story. They're trying to understand what's going on. When you're operating in negativity, you don't care about the why. The only thing that matters is the what. That's the only thing that matters. And it doesn't matter if the what is true. We just operate in the what. Oh, they said that you talked about cats. Oh, really? What did she say? What color was the background when she said it? What did she say about the cats? How many cats were it? Like, you operate in the what so that you'll have something to hold on to go back and continue more of the negative conversation versus actually asking the why. Okay, she talked about cats. Why was she talking about cats? Where did that conversation actually come from? Oh, okay. I wonder why that she feels that way about cats. Or you're trying to dig and get more information. And it's different than what a lot of people do, because a lot of people just try to get information just so they can be nosy or just so they can have something to go back and report. While others are trying to get information because they're trying to understand a situation. So there's a difference when you're operating in negativity and you're operating in good faith. There's definitely a difference. So one of the things that you can look at is when you're dealing with someone that is, we've talked about this on this channel, someone who is a pathological liar. People have different definitions of that. Ultimately, a pathological liar is a person that lies a lot. It's not just a person that tells like everyday lies. They just fib every now and again. They lie a lot, and there is no visible or reasonable explanation for their lies. Like, you usually can't see the benefit of their lies. They lie just to lie. Now, usually to them, there is some type of benefit to whatever lie they are telling. We might not be able to see it at the time, but there's usually some type of benefit, even if the benefit is just getting attention. So this will go back to the whys and the whats. Now, if we just look at someone that tells a lot of lies, then we're like, okay, they're lying again. Oh, what you said? Oh, these are the whats. The ones that are really trying to get deep and not trying to look at things on a negative level, you are looking at why. If they lie a lot, if they are pathological liars, if they are compulsive liars, what is driving them to tell those lies? Why do they feel the need to lie? Why? The why is more important. The why is even more important than the lies that are being told. Why? What is going on with them? And do know, contrary to what people say, people that tend to dwell in negativity, they have unresolved issues. And I spoke about this the last time. They have some unresolved issues that they have not dealt with. There is something that is going on with them. They have some unresolved issues, and they try to transfer that energy from whatever they have going on over to other people. Again, it goes to, y'all heard that saying, we've all heard it, misery loves company. So if they have some things going on, they have some things that they haven't dealt with, they see someone else, they may see you. They feel like you're doing good, or you're in a place where they feel like they should be. Then what they do is they try to take that negative energy that they are feeling and find a way to transfer it over to you so that you're feeling the exact same way that they are feeling. There's your why. You got your why. Again, whenever you hear the lies, it's just, oh, they told another lie. Oh, they're lying again. Oh, they said blah, blah, blah about you. Oh, they said blah, blah, blah about you. My thing, I don't care what you have to say when it's coming to me. I don't care what you have to say about me, because what you have to say about me is none of my business. That's on you. Whatever you got going on, whatever you got to say about whatever, that is none of my business. Why you're saying it, that intrigues me a little bit. Why do you feel the need to lie? That part intrigues me. But what you have to say, that part, no. So a lot of times we see things, and one of the things that he was saying is a lot of times that people tend to be misdiagnosed. And I love this part, that people tend to be misdiagnosed with certain things, not a physical illness or because of a physical ailment or something like that, but we tend to misdiagnose a situation because we don't look at the why. We only focus on the what, and that's what causes a lot of people to be misdiagnosed or misjudge a situation, because we just look at the what that is being done, the what that is being said, and we fail to actually look at the why of it all. Attention seekers, absolutely. Even if you find the right place, it doesn't mean you fit the criteria for help, or that you won't get a lazy clock rider. Those that are continuous pathological liars believe their lies. That's the sad part. Korea, that's sad but true. savage people feel like liars no matter what mentally ill destroys. Sean, I was trying to shy away from certain parts. It's not that mentally ill destroys a person's voice, like diagnosing a person as schizophrenic because the cops told you they are. I don't know what type of people that you may have been seeing, but I have never seen a therapist diagnose someone as being schizophrenic or having schizophrenia, because there's no such thing as you being schizophrenic. But I've never seen a person being diagnosed as having schizophrenia just because somebody said that they had schizophrenia. There are certain criteria that a person has to meet in order to get that diagnosis of schizophrenia. It's not just something that's just passed out like candy. Whenever you come in, and I do this real quick. Whenever you come in, I don't know what type of office or facility or whatever that you went to. Whenever you come in and that initial intake is done, yes, some things, if you had some involvement with law enforcement, some things may be written down there. But once we get you in the office and we do that assessment, once we do that mental health assessment, as well as that mental status exam, that's what things are based on. It's not based on anything that someone says. If I'm doing an assessment with you, I could give two flips about what someone says, and it goes along with what we're actually talking about right here. That's the what. We're not concerned with the what. But if we're having a conversation and I am assessing you, I'm going off the things that you say. I'm going off your behaviors. I'm going off your verbiage during that assessment. Whenever we finish that assessment, I may already have something in my mind that I'm thinking about, just based on the things that were said during that assessment. But even then, I still have to go and see what matches. I'm not pulling out my DSM, but there are certain things, like you already know. Schizophrenia is not just something that you can just go and put on somebody. You have certain criteria, and you got to meet a certain number of those criteria in order for you to get that diagnosis. So if I'm going to give somebody a diagnosis of schizophrenia, or any type of chronic mental illness, then they have met some of the criteria in order for me to give them that diagnosis. We're looking at different things. Are you having auditory and visual hallucinations? Not just auditory and visual hallucinations. Are they command type? Are they telling you to do things? Can you identify whether or not that voice is a male or a female? Are you seeing things that aren't there? Do you have delusions? Do you have delusions of grandeur? I mean, it's a lot of things. Are you having thoughts about hurting yourself? Are you having thoughts about hurting other people? Are the voices telling you to hurt other people if you happen to be hearing voices? Do you have a family history of schizophrenia? Does that run in your family that you know of, or any other type of serious mental illness? There's a lot of things that go along with that. It's not just somebody saying, oh yeah, they got schizophrenia. That's not it. Then we have to take those things, we match it to what's in that DSM-4. Do you meet this number of whatever out of that criteria? We give you that diagnosis. It may be schizophrenia. Like I said, it could be schizoaffective disorder. It could be substance-induced psychosis. It could be some type of psychotic. It could be different things depending on what the situation is at the time. It's definitely not because somebody says something. I would never, and I don't know any therapist that would go off somebody saying, not even another doctor. We don't go off what they say. They may come up with the diagnosis. We realize that is not their expertise. That's not their area of expertise. So even though they may put something, that's why the doctors still send the clients to us. They may go and treat you initially, but they're going to go and send them to us because that's not their area of expertise. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and treat whatever needs to be treated, and then we may send you back to that doctor or our psychiatrist to get the medication. And that's the only place where they will come in. That's the only place where some other outside influence is going to come in, other than us doing targeted case management or doing family counseling, or some type of skills development training or something. That's the only time somebody else's word we're even mad at a particular time. In a crisis situation, yes, we will look at what other people have to say. If somebody said, oh, I think they have schizophrenia. Number one, we're going to look at them crazy, because who are you to give somebody a diagnosis like that? Where'd you get that from? So we wouldn't pay that any attention anyway. And I know this is not what you guys came on here for today, but since that conversation's in the chat, I definitely want to make sure that I address that. So we take the behaviors, we take all the stuff that we gathered during the evaluation or the assessment. And once that person leaves, we do our write-up, what we got out of the assessment. We put our primary diagnosis down, axis 1 diagnosis, axis 2 diagnosis, axis 3 we go through all the axes and give you that diagnosis, whatever your secondary diagnosis may be. If you may have some type of borderline personality disorders going on, we hit the axis that goes over whether or not you're having any type of, if there are some extenuating circumstances, some outside circumstances, like you lost your job, there's death in the family, you got a divorce. Are there any type of extenuating circumstances that may have happened on the outside that may be affecting your current status at this time and maybe playing a role in what you have going on? We look at whether or not there was any substances involved, because part of that assessment is asking about your substance use. And then finally, we give you a GAF. That's the Global Assessment Function Score. We give you a GAF for that day. So depending on what your behavior was that day, and understand, you could act the fool on Friday and then we see you on Saturday and you're a completely different person. So I may GAF you on Friday and your GAF may be 15. You got a GAF of 15, more than likely I'm going to be basically submitting you to an inpatient facility involuntarily. That's what it is. Because that means that there are some things going on. So more than likely, if your GAF is that low, we got a problem. We GAF you, I give you a GAF 60, 70, 80. High up in there, okay, we can work with you in an outpatient setting. I may ask you to come back tomorrow, next week, twice a week, whatever. But everything depends on what's going on that particular day. And like I said, I may see you in GAF on Friday and give you a GAF of 15, give you a GAF of 20. And then I see you again on Saturday and see you on Monday, and you are no longer dealing with those situations that you were dealing with on Friday. So now maybe you're not hallucinating, you're not rambling, you don't have like random thoughts, like you're not all over the place, you're not responding to auditory hallucinations. So your GAF on Monday compared to what your GAF was on Friday is going to be completely different. So when I see you on Monday, then your GAF could be 60, your GAF could be 50, it could be 70. But it all depends on the situation at that time. So what it all boils down to at the end, no, you're not going to get a diagnosis because a cop said that you have a schizophrenic disorder. You're not going to get a diagnosis because your family member came in and said, oh, well, they have bipolar disorder. Not taking anything away from your family, but we don't. Okay. Because a lot of people are self-diagnosed. A lot of people may have received the diagnosis when they were a teenager or when they were younger, and that's no longer what their diagnosis is as an adult. Somebody may have received a diagnosis of, y'all, I'm sorry, I got something on my contact. May have received the diagnosis of ADD or have a diagnosis of ADHD when they are younger. And then they come in as an adult and they're telling us that they have ADD or that they have ADHD. But when I do my assessment, I don't see any of the symptoms of what they're claiming that they had. Not saying they didn't have that when they were younger, but now that you're older, that's not what you're dealing with. What you're dealing with is something completely different. So that doesn't negate from the fact that you may have had that diagnosis before, but that doesn't mean that that's what the diagnosis is now. So we're going to do that assessment and look at what we see. We're not basing it on what anybody else said, what anybody else did. It doesn't matter if you came from another facility. Just like when I have to send people off, if I send somebody off to an inpatient facility for involuntary treatment, once they come back, I get that assessment. I get the diagnosis that they gave them there, because even though I sent them with the diagnosis that I give them when, like if you're in crisis, the diagnosis that I give you when you're in a crisis, even if you're one of my regular patients, is not going to match the diagnosis that I have for you in your regular file. So you're going to have a different diagnosis during that crisis, depending on what's going on during that crisis situation. If I have to do an involuntary commitment and send you to the hospital for inpatient treatment, you're going to get an assessment there, and then they're going to come up with the diagnosis that's completely different than what I may have in the crisis evaluation with the diagnosis that I send to them. So you're going to get a separate diagnosis there. Whenever they finish their treatment there and you come back, man, oh, hey, how you doing? Whenever you finish your treatment with them, wherever you have to go, and you come back, you may be there for a week, you may be there for a weekend, you may be there for a month, a couple months. Whatever your diagnosis is there, they're going to send your records back here. I'm going to get the diagnosis and stuff that they have there. We try to go along with what the people may have had in the other facility that you were in, but we're still going to go by based on what we see that's right in front of us. If this is boring, y'all let me know, but this is what I do. So, yeah, we're going to go by what's in front of us. So we would try to keep you on the same medications at least as long as we could. But if we see something different, or we see some things are worse than what they may have been when you just depending on what all of the extenuating circumstances is around whatever you got going on, we're going to base it on that. So long story short, yeah, no, we don't go off what somebody tells us, especially if it's a cop. I mean, not that something's wrong with cops, but yeah, no, we're not. It's not because somebody said they had such and such going on. Let's see. Also, things you're saying can and are used improperly, often and frequently. Big difference between rambling because you are nuts and rambling because you just went through a traumatic experience. There is a difference. We document rambling, though. We definitely document rambling. But, Sean, in the midst of that rambling, we're also listening to what you are saying. And I hope you guys are all getting something out of this. We are listening to what you are saying. So, yes, the rambling may be different in different situations, but it's what's being said. Whenever someone is rambling, it's actually what they are rambling about. That's what I would be listening to. So if you're rambling and you start talking about like this stuff that's completely off the wall, like maybe you start talking about Elvis, or you start talking about, we'll just use Elvis. Just start talking about some stuff about you meeting Elvis and Elvis did this. Okay, yeah. We got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. But with the rambling, there's also a lot of things that we can find out about you and what you may have going on during that rambling. So, sometimes people ramble and they talk about, I'm not taking my medicine. They want me to take my medicine. Like, there's different types of rambling. And if you listen close enough, you can often find out things that are going on that maybe the family didn't know, or that whoever the people that, let's say they call for me, because like I would be on call. So if I get a call while I'm on call and it's the sheriff's department, or it's somebody from the hospital, somebody from the detention center, they don't understand what the person is saying. So whenever I come in and I have to see that person, then I'm just listening. I take a while before I even start doing my evaluation, and I just listen. That's how you actually start assessing the situation from the beginning. So I want to hear what you're saying. Gotcha. You have a blessed evening too. But yeah, we actually listen to what's being said whenever a person is I don't see it. Okay. Whenever a person is rambling. So you are right. There are different types of rambling, but we still look at rambling like there's a reason for a person rambling. If a person is just anxious and talking fast and just saying stuff, that's something different. But it's still, if you're at the point with rambling, because rambling doesn't have to be verbal. It can also be, I've seen people writing, and I'll demonstrate this. They're talking and they're mumbling, and I've shown this before. They're mumbling and they're going. Now, I gave them the paper to fill out some information, and while they're mumbling, and I can't tell what they're saying because they're rambling, but they're saying something and they're responding to something. This is what is actually written on the paper. That's the type of rambling. So I would still consider that to be rambling whenever I'm doing my assessment. Okay. What's interesting during the assessment, most family members at the company client gives a different behavior than what is actually seen during the assessment. Career for life, that's true too. That's true too. And now when it comes to those things, that's when it's good to have a family member around for some things, because especially when it comes to more chronic mental illnesses or more chronic situations, because a lot of times the people may not know that they're actually doing some of the things that they are doing. Or whenever they come and see us, and they try to minimize those behaviors. So if you do have a family member there that can come and can attest to some of the behaviors or give more detail about some of the behaviors that a person may be partaking in, then that is definitely where that third party or that outside information is very, 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 very helpful for us to get that from that family member. Like I said, especially when you're dealing with more serious diagnoses, because if a person, usually if they're psychotic, they don't realize that they're psychotic. So it's that family member that gives us that information. A lot of times if a person actually does have bipolar disorder, and they have manic episodes, a lot of times they may not realize that they're experiencing those those manic episodes, but we may have a family member that lets us know that they're up all night cleaning up, like doing just stuff that they wouldn't even think of to tell us about. And they can explain like when they can tell the person is having, or it may appear to them that the person may be a bit more manic. So when they start describing themselves, we're like, okay, well, they were manic during that time. So yeah, the family usually does have a different story. Like I said, especially when you're dealing with more chronic mental illnesses, because they see things that the client or the patient doesn't see, or they at that particular time they can't verbalize what they're actually doing because they're in the thick of it. They really don't realize what they're doing. Okay, you're all right about how it should work, but it does not. I stopped taking my meds in 97 at my doc's request. Over half my issues disappeared within 2 weeks. Sean, the question I would have to ask you is, how do you know how do you know that your issues have subsided? You know what I mean? Like, when you're taking psych meds or you're taking psychotropic meds, a lot of people don't realize that it's just like if you have an infection and you're taking an antibiotic, or if you have a sinus infection, or you have a cold or something. You're taking that medicine and you start feeling better. So once you start feeling better, you feel that you don't need to take the medicine anymore because you're better, you're fine, you're healed. Most people don't realize, especially when you're taking any type of psychotropic meds, you're feeling better because you're taking the medication. So the medication is what is actually balancing things out, and it has you feeling a lot better, and it stays in your system for a while. Teresa, hey, how you doing? It stays in your system for a while. The sad part about it is that when you stop taking that medicine, and I'm not speaking on you, but just for, a lot of people, when they stop taking that medicine, all right, Tracy, you may feel like you're doing better, but the people around you, like Crib has said, they may see something a little bit different. If someone were to go, or if the therapist were to go and talk to them, and usually that's how we find out that someone is not taking their meds, because a family member is concerned, or because you just start exhibiting certain behaviors, and we can tell that either you're not taking your medicine, or for some people, they may take their medicine and they take it for a long period of time and they start cycling. So it may be time for us to like switch your medicine for a little while, or switch things up because you start cycling. And that usually looks a little bit different than a person that's just not taking their meds. So I'm not sure why a doctor would tell somebody not to take their psych meds, but I don't know what's going on with that. You just educated a bunch of folks who didn't know before. You might not, but others did. Thank you, Karib. Never met Elvis. I did meet a few other famous folks, but that's just both. Links to conversations with 2 of my therapists. I have no family support, which is so easy to get away with victimizing me. If all therapists did what you say they do, I wouldn't bother arguing. I mean, in any field that you go into, anything that you do, everybody's going to do things differently. But I can also tell you that it depends on the approach that you take with the therapist, because their job is to go and help you with situations. But I can tell you that there have been some situations, even in my case, where I've had I can think of one client in particular that it almost got to the point where he felt like he could almost abuse me because I wasn't doing things the way that he wanted me to do them. So I had to set that straight real quick. So it really depends on your response to treatment, whether or not you are taking the advice of your therapist or your counselor or the psychiatrist or the social worker, whoever you may be dealing with at the time. Are you taking that clinician's advice? Are you being hostile towards that clinician whenever they're trying to help you? Are you making it difficult for them to help you whenever you're coming in? Because a lot of times you have people that have Googled a lot, or they've seen a lot of stuff on the internet, and we got like self-proclaimed therapists that they'll come in and tell you what their diagnosis is, and that's not how that works. And those are usually some of the hardest people to deal with, because you're trying to help them with one thing and they got it in their mind, or somebody told them, oh, this is what you have. So you're sitting there trying to address them about something, a diagnosis that you have given them. And not only have you given them that diagnosis, but you have consulted with your treatment team, which usually consists of yourself, other mental health therapists, other clinicians, as well as a staff psychiatrist. And you all agree and sign off. Usually everybody signs off on that diagnosis, as well as your summary of that diagnosis, why you gave that person that diagnosis. So it's a little bit deeper than what people actually think it is. Somebody may get a diagnosis, but there's a lot of other factors and a lot of other hands that go on that. But most definitely, you have to be mindful about how you approach your human service provider, because they are human as well. I'm just saying. Hey, Ruby, how you doing? Okay. As far as the support system, I do hope you get that support system. Guys, if you don't understand or don't realize or don't get anything else out of this, and this still goes along with the conversation that we are having today with the why and the what, that support system matters. Support systems actually matter. And as a matter of fact, if a lot of people had the proper support system, a lot of them wouldn't be participating in some of the behaviors that they are participating in now. Constantly coming at the people, all of the lying, all of the backbiting, just just evil kind of stuff. Like if they had the proper support system in place, not saying that they wouldn't do it like at all, but at least they would have some people to tap them and say, look, you need to chill out. Like you're doing too much. If they had the right people in place, then maybe that would alleviate some of those behaviors and some of that activity that a lot of people have going on. Instead of just having a bunch of yes people around them that are afraid to be honest with them. Side effects from meds. These side effects were diagnosed as other things, and I was given more meds. I was started on them at the age of 4 in foster care and never had a day. Oh, wow. Oh, no, you didn't put the doctor's name in here. It's because she thought it was the meds. It turns out she was right. There is a limit to the quantity and type of meds a person can handle. Okay. Yeah. When we get on medication, I'm just going to touch on this briefly. Yeah, every medication isn't for everybody. And just like I was talking about, people can cycle. You have like different cycles, especially people that have like schizophrenia and different types of psychotic disorders. Like you get that medication and it may work for a while, but if you're on that medication for too long, you may have bouts where you tend to cycle, and even though you're taking it, you're still participating in some of those behaviors. So usually we'll have you come back in, you see the therapist, you see the psychiatrist, let the psychiatrist know what's going on. The psychiatrist consults with the therapist to see what the therapist thinks, and they have a conversation about whether or not, you need to stay on the same medication or whether or not you need to be put on a different medication. Maybe your body has built up a tolerance level to whatever medication that you are on, and maybe that medication is not doing what it's supposed to do for you at that particular time. And keep in mind that a lot of times people are taking more than one type of psych med. It sounded like you were taking more than one. So you always have those counter effects that a person could possibly have when taking more than one psych med at a time, because the what those psych meds are supposed to do is very specific. So you may be taking some psych meds, and then you may be taking some OTCs. You could be taking some stuff that you were prescribed by your PCP. Like you got all these different medications that you are taking, and then they start interacting with each other. Now, not saying for you, but if you are a person that likes to consume alcoholic beverages, if you are a person that likes to partake in cannabis activities, if you are a person that likes to drink a lot of caffeine, be it soda, coffee, tea, chocolate, you like to consume a lot of caffeine, then those are things that have to also be considered whenever you are taking different types of medication, any type of medication, because you can have side effects from those meds. For example, I have to take thyroid medication. I can't eat with that thyroid medication. It loses its potency if you eat with that medication. At the same time, there are certain foods that while taking that medication and while dealing with thyroid issues, there are certain foods that you need to stay away from, because certain foods work against your medication. If you are taking benzos, you definitely need to stay away from alcohol. You need to stay away from other things that will bring you down, other things that we would consider to be downers. Same thing with alcohol. If you're drinking alcohol, it's certain medications you don't need to be fooling with, because you're going to slow your heart all the way down. Like it's a lot of stuff that's that's going on that people don't think about. So, I mean, it could be justified in them taking you off some medication, especially if you were on the same medication since you were 4 years old. I would hope not. That's kind of hard to take in for somebody to have the same medication for that long, because some of them should have been canceled out and expired, and then like some of them they probably don't even make anymore. But yeah, you have to be careful. You have to be mindful, and you have to listen to your body. So you got to listen to your own body whenever you're taking different types of medications. And I understand when you are taking psych meds, it's a lot of psych meds have you feeling funny, but I mean, that's what they are supposed to do. If you are dealing with anxiety or you're dealing with depression and you're taking medication, a lot of times the medications for anxiety and depression often run hand in hand. So meaning that they can work double duty. Like you can take one for anxiety and depression. Like it knocks both of them at the same time. Some doctors may give you a separate medicine for anxiety and then give you another medicine for depression. Now you may have some things in there that work against, each other. You got one, I mean, you take a meds for anxiety, they're going to calm you down. That's what they're supposed to do. Well, if you're depressed, a lot of times you're already calm. So, you go and you're taking that medicine and you go and add some alcohol on top of it, which is a downer. I mean, it does, for some people it has the opposite effect, but it's basically a downer. Now you're creating something else. Let's take this a step further. Y'all gonna get this. I guess my whole thing then got changed, but now, Sean, I'm going to touch on black people real quick. And let me have this one. Give me a sec. A lot of black people often create cocktails, and they don't realize that they're doing that. Some of them actually do. Okay, so you have a lot of people that have headaches. They pop goody powders. And people still pop goody powders. They pop goody powders. They go and they drink a soda with it. They may go and have some tea. You're going and you're mixing all this stuff together. Number one, once you take that goody powder, that stand back, that BC, and you mix it with soda, you have already created a cocktail. You have already created a whole other drug. You have created a whole other substance. I'm just saying. Now, if you're taking any type of psych meds, especially if you're taking something that's supposed to bring you down, and you're taking this other stuff that's going to have you on 500 real quick, 0 to 500 real quick, then the two are working against each other. So you are therefore creating your own chemical imbalance at that particular time. Even if you weren't taking any psych meds, physically, the thing, and I just want to put this out there because that's something that's big for me, what you're doing to your heart with those powdered medications, because they go straight to the head, and mixing it with alcohol or soda, you busting your heart wide open. You like, not just your heart, but you asking for a stroke to take place. So I want black women in particular, I'm going to speak to y'all for a minute because that's probably what we got mostly on here. If you think about a lot of the older people in your family that actually ended up having strokes, I want you to think about, did they pop BCs? And understand that when black women, and this is no shade to black women, y'all, I'm just telling you what I have observed. They're popping these things. They don't take one, they take 2, 3, and they take them all and they pour them all into one. They hit them back and they chase it with a soda. Think about some of the people in your family, some people that you have known that have had strokes, and think about whether or not they were participating in doing that. Just something to think about. If you are somebody that is doing that, I urge you to stop. Now, there's not that many times that I try to tell people what to do or don't do, but I'm going to urge you in this situation to stop. Along with that, if you are a person that is having difficulty sleeping, one of the first things I have to ask I don't have to, but I ask my clients, well, do you drink coffee? How many cups of coffee do you drink? We talk about that, okay? Oh, well, I drink 5 cups a day, 6 cups a day, 7 cups a day, 8 cups a day, 10 cups a day. I drink 3 big mugs a day. Well, that's why you can't sleep. Oh, well, I build up a tolerance to it. Okay. Then why are you not sleeping then? That's the first thing. A lot of people think, okay, well, I don't drink coffee, but you drink the sodas. Just like I drink Coke Zero. But I can't drink Coke Zero after a certain time, and I can only drink one a day. One a day. unless I'm feeling froggy and I'm trying to stay up late, then I go and pop me another one. But still the 12-ounce cans. That's what I've been doing, the 12-ounce cans. But I understand that if I'm having difficulty sleeping, and back in the day, I remember I would be asking my clients about that, about them not being able to sleep. And me not thinking in my head, because, I would have trouble going in. Like, I would go to sleep, like, really late, and I wake up really early. I wasn't staying asleep because I was drinking Mountain Dews like crazy. I mean, this was years ago. But I was drinking them like crazy. And I had that aha moment. Like, you sitting up here talking to these other people about them not being able to sleep. And you drinking these Mountain Dews. That's why you're not sleeping the way that you're supposed to. So understand that since we are on this, caffeine is a stimulant. It is definitely a stimulant. So I'm not saying that when you're doing caffeine, you're doing drugs, but it is a stimulant. That's all I'm saying. It is meant to stimulate your mind and it stimulates your heart. It's a stimulant. So it's just something for you to think about. All these energy drinks, if you look at the caffeine, the amounts of caffeine that are on the back, when you're drinking a drink and it got 500 grams or milligrams or whatever the grams are of caffeine, and you drinking 2 or 3 of them, that's a problem. That's a problem. You walking around jittery and you think it's like no dose. You know what I mean? You high. You are high. I'm just saying you're high. So yeah. But let me get back to what I was saying. Let me see y'all comments real quick. Many family members have other children and come right out and tell you they have no patience. It's sad, but it's real. Yeah. And again, that was the thing when I had discussed the celebrity the last time. Like with Kanye, I think if his mom was here, because I think he had those issues before his mom passed. I think that because he had his mom here to help him with a lot of those issues, then it didn't come out as much. People didn't see it as much. But when you have that support system that's there to help you, then you're more likely, you're able to deal with a lot of those things. When you have that family that just, and a lot of them, it's not that they don't want to help you. A lot of them just don't know what to do with it. Someone made a comment on my page this morning, and she was talking about her son being in and out of jail and the substance abuse issues that he has. And for people that have to deal with that personally, for people that have to deal with that directly, it's hard. I mean, it's easy to be somebody on the outside telling people like what they need to do. Go do this, go do that with them. But if you're somebody that has to deal with that like up front and personal, you got to deal with it like on a daily basis, it can really be tiring. It definitely is tiring. I mean, we're going to be honest about it. Depending on what type of issues that person may have. So patience is definitely a virtue, but there is a reason why some people have, like, everybody can't do this work. A lot of people, feel like they can. They want to go around and diagnose people and tell them what they need to do. It's more than that, and everybody can't do it. Everybody doesn't have the patience. Everybody doesn't have the tolerance to do this type of work. And that was something that I was trying to explain to people way back in my way past. When I first came on here is I work with everybody. I'm not selective about the type of people that I work with, because ultimately I have to work with the people that a lot of people don't want to be around. And if that person happens to be somebody close to you and you have to deal with that every day, then yes, it takes a great degree of patience. And I think the person that said something this morning, she was talking about there's a fine line between helping somebody and being abused. And I couldn't agree with that more, because depending on what a person has going on and whether or not you have become somewhat of a crutch for that person, then you do like have some people, and I don't want to say that they're doing it knowingly, but they can become a bit abusive in nature. You're helping them, they're telling them what you not doing, what you can't do. You getting cursed out for trying to do this for them. You know, you're trying to be that person that calls them out. You're trying to be that supportive family member, and they're basically giving you their butts to kiss. Like, I get it, I see it. Experienced it, as a matter of fact. So it's kind of it's hard. It's hard. So I give shout outs and blessings to anybody that is dealing with a family member or has dealt with. Shout out to you and bless you, because that's a work. That's a job all by itself. I fought for attention. The question should be why. I quit drinking in 2001. I don't do street drugs. I tried for positive attention, positive attitude, but that didn't get me heard or stop the abuse. When I start screaming at the top of my lungs, horrible vulgarity, people listen. Yes, ma'am, you may talk about black folks. I find no offense in it. You are correct about the dangers of upping and downs. I killed myself with caffeine pills, with sleeping pills. Yeah, you gotta stay away from that. You gotta stay away from that. I didn't have a DNR at the time, so I'm here. You didn't have a DNR at what time? Okay, so how do... Y'all forgive me. Just give me a moment. Now, just give me a moment. Sean, how do we go from the pills? You're saying you killed yourself, so you like literally passed, like you flatlined, and you came back because you did not have a do not resuscitate. Is that what you're saying? Because I'm trying to get... I didn't have a DNR at the time, so I'm here. And for those of you that were on here last week, whenever I was doing the live, and you saw like our quick little exchange in the chat, this was the reason why I kind of handled the situation like I did. Because like I said, I knew that there were some other things going on, and I didn't want to come across being disrespectful. Sean, I'm glad that you came back today. I was hoping that you came back, so thank you for coming back. But yeah. So if you guys are getting anything out of this, like, let me know. Show me something in the chat, because it's getting a little quiet. I'm seeing Sean's comments. I'm seeing Karib's comments. Are you guys getting anything out of this? I know we started on one thing, but this actually goes together, because what I was talking about, the why, you guys are actually seeing the why like firsthand. So you kind of get like, why we saw this little exchange and this happened and this video was made and like whatever, and like you saw the what, now you're getting the why. Now you're getting the why. So you're getting to see some of what this particular person has going on, and that helps to explain the why. The what is not so important once you get down to the why. The why is what's important. Nothing else really matters at this point. It's the why that's important. So I'm looking, and he's saying that he tried to do positive things. He tried to think positive. He tried to speak positive. But for him, he's saying that positive, like that didn't work for him. So the only thing that he saw that worked was him going out, like throwing out some vulgarities and, at folks and being negative. And that's what seemed to get people attention. The sad part is, in this particular area that we're in of YouTube, I'm pretty sure that everybody does not have the same story, but there's a why for why a lot of these people on here feel like they have to constantly come after people. There's a why for why people feel like they have to constantly attack and lie on people, there is a why. There is a why for why people feel like they have to go and like target certain things. There's a why. It's not about what, because they're going to feed you the what's all day. And that's just their perception of whatever they have going on. Like I said, whatever a person thinks about me or what they think about you, that's like none of my business. That's their business. Whoever's saying it, that's their business. It has nothing to do with me. That's their what. Like whatever your what is, keep your what's over there. But there's definitely a why to everything that we do, to everything that we have going on. A what for me would be, Dr. Rod is not gonna come on here and be cursing people out and like saying all this stuff and like trying to come after people hard and like do whatever. That's a what for me. Like I'm not gonna do it. Y'all have the what's. The why is because that's not what I believe in. That's not what I do. That's not how I was raised. It doesn't even have to do with like the professionalism part of it. That's just not how I was raised. That's not how I operate. There's your why. So regardless of what, just like today, I got a lot of messages today. Those are what's to me. I appreciate you guys, but I don't care. I don't care. It's the relevancy for me, and it's not relevant to me. It's not important to me. The why, again, is because it just doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, we have to get ourselves in a place to where we realize that we can't let other people give us a name. No matter how much people try to come out here and they call people names and like want to give you a title, you give your own title. You are self-titled. If somebody else wants to come out and try to tell you who you are and like that's their business. That's none of your business. What they feel about you is none of your business. Let them go. Let them go with their what's, and them and their what's can go and have a nice day. Okay? But the why of it all is, there's something lacking. There's definitely something lacking in a particular area. If anyone can take something, that's said or that's put out there and some type of way turn that around and believe that it's something to do with them, then that's your why. There's something there. There's definitely something there, and it's none of my business. It's definitely like whatever that is, none of my business. You still have to do what you do anyway and let people go and do whatever they do. You are content with your life, intelligent, mature in their behavior. Of talking about people proves their lack of intelligence. Carib, I agree with that 100%. I agree with that. And that contentment, again, if people are not satisfied with something, they feel like they are lacking in something. They have some things that are unresolved that they have not dealt with, or maybe don't know how to deal with those things, then they tend to come after other people. That's just what they do. It goes back to one of the old sayings that we hear: hurt people hurt people. So because I'm not able to deal with whatever I have going on, my own issues, then I start coming after other people. And maybe I can make someone feel as bad as I feel. And then that would make me feel better, at least temporarily. Just in the moment. I saw something. I became a bully. After that, I was healed. It's not in my nature to bully with these people. I don't want to speak on the death part. Boston, yes, it is ready. It is ready. Most definitely, it is ready. But the bullying part, Sean, I will be careful. And this is to everybody on here. I will be careful. All right, Sean, don't come after me like you did last time now. Nah, it was all good. But the bullying part, you have to deal with whatever it is you have going on. Like it's not okay to take what you have going on, any type of unresolved issues, and try to and make other people basically suffer for things that you haven't been able to get resolved because they had nothing to do with it. So they shouldn't have to suffer for what you feel someone else did to you. And that's what a lot of people are doing right now. Again, that transference of energy. That's what a lot of people do. And I can say for me, that's why I don't get upset whenever somebody, especially somebody on here, is saying something, because you don't know me. You don't know me. And even if you did know me, I didn't get notification. I'm sorry, Boston. I'm sorry. And even if you did know me, then anything that you'll be putting out that's like negative like that, those would be lies anyway. And the people that know me wouldn't even listen to it because they know better. And the people that I deal with know we all in the same place. Like, you don't like somebody, that's your business. They ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, that's your business. You have that. Like, whatever, you'll be all right. But yeah, the bullying thing is, it's never like it's you know. Yeah. So we just have to be mindful. We definitely have to be mindful of that, because at the end of the day, I get what you're saying, Sean, but I'm gonna stand in what I'm saying, and that bullying is never okay. I don't see, it's just never okay. There's a way to go about doing things without bullying people or purposely trying to hurt people, and that's what a lot of people are doing. And that's the reason, again, that number one, I tend to, I do my thing. I don't like try to link up with people. And I mean, honestly, most of the bloggers that are in this sector, I've talked to them. I have talked to them. I do talk to them, like whatever the case may be. And I always try to be a mediator. I ride solo. Hey, how you doing? I always try to be a mediator and not get caught up in the dramatics of it all. But every now and again, you'll have people trying to pull you in to the stuff, because a lot of people don't like peace. Or a lot of people just like to keep stuff going, and I can't allow myself to be pulled into that, because I don't operate on negative ground. Just cannot. You cannot survive by operating on negative ground. You cannot be blessed. You will not be blessed when you're operating on negative ground. And it's one thing if you don't know better, but when you know better, then you are expected whenever you know better, then you are definitely expected to do better. And I feel like for us, we should hold people to a higher standard. When we know that they know better, you can tell by the way that people talk whether or not they know better. You can tell, because when they're not being negative, then they're saying the things that they're supposed to say, and you can tell that they know better. So whenever they get into this negative, they get into this negative vibe, or they just feel like they got to be negative about some stuff, then that's the time when we have to start calling each other. We have to start calling each other out on some stuff, because for me, if you can get on whatever your platform is and you can call other people out on what you feel they are doing, whether it's true or false, then you definitely can be called out on your stuff when you're operating on negative ground, when you often speak of God and things of that nature. So with that being said, I was trying to do exactly 60 minutes. I am over 60 minutes. I am at 70. I hope you guys got something out of this. If you have not hit the like button, please hit that like button. Let me get this last. Russia attacks Ukraine defense. This is a mentality from a bullying theory. It's a right way to do it, but with the high support network, defense is essential. Sean, I'm gonna say this before I leave off here. We have to be careful in our defense that we actually know who or what we are fighting against. Because I find that in these YouTube streets, a lot of times people are in defense mode or are fighting against something or someone that isn't fighting against them. Like it's a one-sided fight. So you have to make sure that whoever you're fighting, like that you got that same energy that they're trying to give to you, because maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe that fight isn't exactly what you think it is. And like, I can only speak for me. Like, I got people fighting with me, but they're fighting alone because I don't have nothing for you. Like, you know, it's like, what you want me to say? What you want me to do? Whatever. So you gotta make sure that, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are both on the same, like, level when it comes to that, and that you're not actually fighting against yourself. Because that's a lot of times, that's what people end up doing, is you're fighting against yourself. But is it really fight or flight, David? Is it fight or flight? Sometimes it's just flight. You know what I mean? Everything doesn't have to be, everything doesn't have to be a fight. Everything doesn't have to be a fight. We can live amongst each other, and the people that feel like they can't live, you know, with you, then let them go about their business. I mean, we can all coexist. We're all, you know what I'm saying? We're all on different sides of the country, y'all. Some of us in different parts of the world. We can all coexist. If somebody doesn't like you, oh, freaking well. You know what I mean? Like, let them go about their business and you go about theirs. Them not liking you is none of your business. And y'all know what I say on here, mind your business. So let them mind theirs and say whatever they got to say and do whatever they got to do. And you continue to mind your business. You continue to mind your business. Okay. With that being said, I hope you guys got something out of this. Like I said before, shout out to the dimes that are on here. Karib, thank you for taking that on today. I appreciate you for that. Moderators, Sean, thank you for joining us today and you know, kind of being vulnerable with the people in the chat. I'm gonna text you about this autoimmunity. I got questions. Hope you this morning regimen eating wise. That's fine, Boston. That's fine. So I appreciate you guys. Shout out to the certified dime. Shout out to the subscribers. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe today. Again, on this channel, if they don't like me, fine. If they punch me over, man. Sean, nobody punching you. Ain't nobody punching you, but you can't be going around bullying people either now. I'm just saying. But yeah, hope you guys got something out of this today. I done said that for like the third or fourth time. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get off here. Look, today's menu, Sunday dinner, because this, like I said, this used to be Sunday table talk. So today's, you're welcome. You're welcome. Today's menu was, on the menu was, what did I have? Mashed potatoes and gravy, Salisbury steak, some greens, collards, and some biscuits. That's what was on the menu for today. So I had that before I got on here for y'all. I'm sorry. I had to do what I had to do. But yeah, hope you guys got something out of this. I'm going to try to start doing my lives on Sunday and maybe throw one up in there during the week. I'm not sure. But for the ones that came in today, I appreciate you. And again, if you got nothing else out of this live tonight, if you got nothing else out of this live, I need you guys to remember this one thing. If you don't remember anything else that I said on here tonight, I need you to remember this one thing. At the end of the day, no matter what they say about you, No matter what they do, unless they put their hands on you, that's a whole other story. But no matter what they do, no matter what they do, I need you to remember this one thing. If you don't remember nothing else. You're welcome, Sean. If you don't remember nothing else, mind your business. It don't cost you a dime. It's free. I'm giving y'all that. Free 99. Free 99. Don't ever forget I'm giving it to you for free 99. Mind your business. Right, Boston? MYOB. Mind your own business. I'm going to see y'all next time. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday and have a... I got it. You guys have a productive work week, and I'll see you next time. Boston, I got it. All right, guys. Bye.